Hello, hello, hello. Great to see you, Passix, once again. Welcome to the stream. Anyone who's watching this after the fact. Today's gonna be like a day of experimenting. Alright, there we go. Yesterday was all gameplay, just messing around with different N64 games. The idea being to go over stuff I was planning on for the top 10 video. Today is going to be something that's going to kind of give me some ideas and supplement some stuff for some future videos focused on the RetroTINK devices. You like that? Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted to find a way to put it to use, because like it's just back there doing nothing. Might as well do something with it. Debated doing something like showing like a TV show or something. Bob D interlacing with CRT simulated on 5X. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Can definitely do that. Because a lot of what I'm going to do today is, for the 5X at least, is going to be Scanline focused. I've always debated the idea of doing like a Scanline focused video, so I kind of wanted to play around with the different things today and see how that goes. It's kind of the idea. I'm also trying to test out like doing a dual camera kind of thing. So we got like the second camera pointing at the relevant devices, basically. Found a way to utilize the capture card that I used to use in the channel's early days to do that. So for any device focused stuff, I could like actually be on camera pressing the buttons and doing this stuff versus always disappearing off screen to go mess with things. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. We'll see how it goes. I'll definitely keep the if I forget about it, because it might be like a little bit from now, but remind me about the Bob D interlacing, because I'm gonna do 2X Pro and 2X Pro M first, and then go to the 5X Pro. But I will definitely want to do that. That'll be very interesting. Cool. That's a funny question. So I'm pretty crazy about gummies. I used to be a super big fan of Lifesavers Wild Berry, the sour editions, which they don't even make those anymore. Those are my favorites. As far as what I've hated the most, though, there's like these. Licorice is actually a good suggestion. Licorice I definitely don't like too much. What the hell is it called? There's like a new thing out that's like I forget. I think it's Black Forest, the brand that does like gummy worms and stuff. And it was like they're filled with some kind of thing. I got them from a vending machine at work, and they were just atrocious. It was like the worst kind of off-brand, Gushers. Basically, they were terrible. I think it was Black Forest was the brand that makes them. All right. So first, what I wanted to do. This here is the 2X Pro, giving us 480i off the GameCube using component. And the wacky thing about this stream is I am recording it, and I will upload the recording separately, because the recording is going to have higher quality than the stream will. Even with the bitrate basically maxed out for what YouTube will let me give it, streams are way more compressed than like a regular upload is. So that'll go up later today, just like with all the other stuff. But I wanted to mess around with the all the devices basically, to get an idea of how they're looking, for the potential of doing some kind of video that focuses on the 480i experience. So this is the 2X Pro component. This is a Hot Wheels World Race, which is like a pretty visually appealing 480i game. Start. There we go. Man, this thing's struggling. Need to like repair the controller. Jeez, it's giving me trouble. It's got like a bunch of weird latency. There we go. It's like it timed out and didn't pair back up right. Weird. Something's always got to go wrong, though, right? Oh, still is going wrong. Come on. What are we doing here? Wow. It's the controller that's doing it. Oh, retro fighters, I try to love you, but you continue to betray me. So weird. Alright, I tried. I wanted to give the blade another go. Too bad. Switch over to my 8-bit dough. Woo! Pair up, come on. Oh, I think I know what it is. I got two things turned on at the same time right now. It's confusing it. Die. Things can never just go right. Cherry's probably my favorite of the like lollipop options that are out there. What is going on here? Holy Lord. You can do it. Hey, you were just talking about a really cool N64 acquisition that you had there. It was like a specific region you found a variant of. Katapai? Yeah, Hong Kong only cartridge of Ocarina of Time. Very cool. It's definitely one of the more expensive games that I've got in my collection. Alright, we're back. It's paired. Jesus. Alright. I just want to get into the game because what I want to do is... Actually, this is a decent moment right here. So you can kind of see how it's... how the 2X Pro handles 480i. There is like a little bit of noticeable jitter. This is the sharp filter currently. With this kind of content, I think smooth tends to look the best. The 2X Pro's smooth filter is quite good at smoothing. I always love it for N64 for that reason. And before the 5X Pro was like multiple updates deep, I definitely preferred the 2X Pro's smooth filter to the 5X's. The 5X's is very different now. With 480i content at least. That's why I wanted to do this stream, because it's just very clear now with how it does like its automatic deinterlacing, which we'll get to. But I want to say it's the bottom button. Oh, that's the input. Alright, so that's the smooth filter, which on stream is probably not going to be super noticeable, but on the recording you should see some differences. Again, YouTube's compression still takes away a lot no matter what I do. With the smooth filter, smooths it out, that's for sure. Oh no, I don't have any of the tracks unlocked. Oh yeah, the PS2 version I did. RIP. The final filter is the Scanline filter, which gets interesting for the 2X because... You know, the 5X lets you customize the whole suite, whereas the 2X and 2XM have the one option for it. But I think it does a pretty good job. I mean, running component obviously helps because the clarity with component versus, say, composite with this thing is a lot better. Oh, gosh. Hey, that was still great somehow. The bar is very low. I mean, it definitely comes across very smooth. this is one of the 480i games that I think looks like really, really nice on the GameCube. One that like I didn't think was very good was the Harry Potter Quidditch game was like an example of one that's pretty rough. That unless you're going to use the 5X Pro, it's not super great. Get out of the way, slow traffic. Let's flip on Scanlines. Boop. Alright, so there's the Scanline filter for the 2X Pro, which reminds me a lot of the kind of, what's it, the LCD preset on the 5X Pro. It's just straight lines, basically. I used to be, like, really opposed to Scanlines. That's the new thing now, is me just screaming slow traffic, by the way. I used to be, like, really anti-Scanlines. Like, I saw that, and I was like, ew, gross. But, like, functionally, Scanlines help hide imperfections on this stuff. That's kind of the first benefit. The second benefit being if you are, like, trying to make these games look like they're quote-unquote supposed to look like, or would have looked like back in their day. That's the second aspect, is emulating the CRT experience. Hi. Nice, I'm getting the hang of it. The only problem with the 2X and 2X Pro M's Scanlines is that it definitely takes away from the overall brightness of the image. There are kind of ways you can supplement that. A good example is like, if you were, oh Jesus, if you were, I like how I get great every time, even though I just, like HD Retrovision's component cables have toggleable, like the bright versus dark setting, and like the bright setting can help compensate for that. I can show that actually on stream while I'm doing this. That's one way. Obviously, you can always jack your TV's brightness up some, but it's not going to really help a ton because you're raising everything. I am told that OLEDs are like super great for all this stuff. I'll flip it back off of Scanlines. Boom. All right, so that's sharp again, and then we're going to go smooth, and then Scanlines. So, it's the 2X there, 2X Pro, I should say, running component. The 5X Pro Scanline stuff is going to be great because I am going to mess around with the HDR part of it too. Hey, greetings back to Colombia. Nice to have you here. And as far as the never notifying you for the stream, I know that, like, you get told, like, oh, make sure you hit the bell to notify or whatever. Maybe that's what it is. Like, when you subbed or something, that feature got turned off or something. I don't know. I am not that kind of guy when it comes to, you know, subscribe, hit the bell. Here's my NFT collection. Purchase it now. Let's flip it over to the 2X Pro M. 2X Pro M is number 7. Click. I haven't talked about this thing in like literally years, and I kind of wanted to just for fun. So on camera there below my 2X Pro is the 2X Pro M, which was a special variant. You had to turn on the notifications. Yeah, that's probably what it was. That makes sense. So below my 2X Pro on camera there, we got the 2X Pro M, which, the funny thing about me buying that is that I bought the 2X Pro, and before it even got to my house, I had discovered that there was also the 2X Pro M, and the cool thing about the 2X Pro M is that it accepts 480p content in, which the regular 2X Pro doesn't. And that kind of makes it more desirable for someone that has, like, modern-ish retro consoles, like, you know, the GameCube, the PS2, the Xbox, the Wii. Because for the games that run 480p, it basically will act as a pass-through device and just straight convert the content to digital, which is very similar to what devices like, say, the CARBY, the Retrobit Prism will do for the GameCube, stuff like that. So I wanted to get one. It's also supposed to have like a more accurate decoder for composite content specifically. That I'm not really capable of showing right now on stream because everything I have is rigged up with a component, with the exception of my NES, which currently just doesn't work anymore. I gotta replace it. It's finally dead. So the weird thing about the 2X Pro M, with all that said, it doesn't have smooth versus sharp filters. It only has like default sharp and then scan lines. So what you're seeing right now is sharp. And then I could flip on scan lines. Ooh. Processing. And there's the scan lines. Yeah, my NES is finally just kaput. It doesn't even work anymore. It's a power supply. The one thing I haven't tried yet is replacing the power supply. It could be that, but I'm waiting on the Triad thing. Triad to restock theirs because I want to get like a good one and see if that fixes it. So there's the 2XM with scan lines. I don't even want to do this. And no, I unlocked a car. Hey. Yeah, also looks quite good. Both on the stream and the capture preview. It's a nice experience. I used to publish just like gameplay videos back in the day, and I did have some of the 2XM on that, just doing like N64 and stuff, and it's quite a good device. You just can't get it anymore. It's discontinued. I think it was like a parts issue. I'm not sure if Mike intends to make more of them at some point. It doesn't seem like it anymore. But if you ever find one for cheap, I mean, you can. Like, I think it was, yeah, someone posted a comment about finding one at a thrift shop and getting it for like $45, which is like a crazy good deal. Here's what we'll do to kind of want to do the brightness darkness thing. What do I have currently in there? Oh, perfect. Let's flip it over to the Super Nintendo. Hey, Niall, nice to have you here. There we go. All right. So that's still the 2X Pro M currently. Yes, I do have a modded N64. I didn't mod it myself. I got one that was already pre-modded, which I kind of regret because I wish I had gone through some kind of service to give them props, or it would have been more expensive to do it myself because my current N64 is not one of the models that you can mod. That was sad to learn. Alright, I'm going to switch over to the 2X Pro though. Boop. Alright, back to the 2X Pro. So here's what I want to show is the bright versus dark setting here and how it affects the scan lines. Hey, come on. Pair up. You can do it. There we go. See, 8BitDo is cooperating. Retro Fighters just doesn't want to play along. Which, I'll be honest, only happens when I try to stream. Otherwise, I love using the Blade/Battler for GameCube. Yes, that was Hot Wheels World Race. Okay, so currently the smooth filter is obviously on. Alright. So this is the 2X Pro Sharp HD Retrovision component cables. Or no, sorry, this is not HD Retrovision, but this is SCART RGB. I just remembered that that's SCART. I'm an idiot. Alright. Alright, well, good thing I have that camera. So we're going to put this camera to use today. So, this is SCART, the Retro Gaming Cables UK. Yeah, the smooth filter was not... Yeah, I don't recommend smooth for the Super Nintendo. You can tell right away something was wrong. So this is the... oh my god. This is the Retro Gaming Cables UK RGB SCART cable. It's their Universal Nintendo one. Great cable. I've had it for a couple years now. As opposed to the HD Retrovision component cables. Now the cool thing about the component cables, they have a neat little switch for like bright versus dark output, and that can really help with the Scanline experience. So if you're ever looking to get these, this is where they can kind of help you if you have a 2X Pro, because Scanlines here, they're smooth. Okay. There's Scanline, so obviously we've added Scanlines to give us that CRT experience, but, you know, it takes away from the brightness, and CRTs, generally speaking, are known to be, like, super, super bright. The HD Retrovision cables can kind of help us with this. I'm going to keep it on the dark setting initially, and then I'll bump it up to bright, so you can see what that does for you. Just switch it out. Unplug you. Go in. And now, normally I would be disappearing right now, but we got our second camera. Hey. Alright, let's swap in these cables here. Alrighty. Sweet. If you're wondering how I said I was using SCART, but you just witnessed me unplug component for component, it's because I'm using one of these, RetroTINK's RGB to comp transcoder. It's in my console collection there. It basically let me free up more inputs for my Extron system, because I can run RGB compatible consoles such as the Super Nintendo, PS1, and one more, N64 SCART cables into a SCART switch, which then goes into the transcoder, which then comes out component, which goes into the Extron system. It just saves inputs. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to mod my stuff myself. I do have a short-term goal here. I'm hoping by the end of the year to get my SNES modded with the RGB mod that helps with the one-chip output. Okay, so this is now the HD Retrovision component cables. We can see that the overall luminance here is pretty similar to what SCART was giving us with Scanlines. But if I swap the cable to the bright setting, hey, there it is. It brightens it up a noticeable amount, which really helps with Scanlines. There are some games that might be too bright, so you want to be careful about that. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I don't think all their cables have that, and I know that the component cables, the Retro Gaming cables makes for like the Genesis, for example, doesn't have that. But this one does, and it helps because you can overcome the overall loss of brightness that normally happens on Super Nintendo specifically. You obviously can't do this with like Retrobit Prism's component cables or so on and so forth. But I thought it was worth mentioning because it is a pretty cool thing there that you can do with that. Uh, and yeah, Caterpie's super correct there. General kind of rule of thumb is 2D best for sharp, smooth filter kind of best for your 3D consoles. The one exception that I would put in there is the PS1 if you're gonna use like RGB, because with RGB output, the PS1 is like very, very sharp and defined, and the sharp filter perfectly complements that. Sweet. So just wanted to call out this feature that this cable here has real quick as we're talking about scan lines and whatnot. This is something that the 5X Pro doesn't need because it is capable of HDR, which I will be showing and playing around with. Let me put this back in. Plug you back in. Get the system back connected like normal. All right, and we are back. All right, let's flip it over to the PS2, and then pretty much be focusing on the 5X Pro and its scan lines after that. Alright. PS2 output. Keep scan lines on. Oh, I have to mute the game audio temporarily. There's licensed music in this game. I don't want to get a big old DMCA strike. Whew. I've been curious about that EverDrive stuff. It seems really cool. Hello, PlayStation. Where are you? Oh, did I use the wrong one? I think I used PS3. 3. Yeah, that's wrong. Wrong output. There it is. Alright, we talked about this yesterday. Alright, so here we got some good old 480i PS2 goodness using the 2X Pro. Scan lines enabled. Just gotta go into the options and mute the music, and then we're good to go. It is not fun to stay at the DMCA. Settings. Alright, did that do it? We muted? Yes. I think it still wants to play stuff during the transitions though, so I'm gonna wait until I'm in a race to turn it back on. Alright, so similar to the GameCube, there is like some noticeable jitter with the 2X Pro here. Overall, though, I like what I'm seeing. The PS2 is like another one of those consoles where component is a very achievable option. Like you can get like HD Retrovision's component cables for like $30. It's cheap and it's a good upgrade over composite. You can also use RGB, I think, for the PS2 as well, like SCART. One console that I definitely don't recommend utilizing SCART for, though, is the Xbox, because you'll cut yourself off from being able to do games that offer 720p or 1080i, because SCART caps out at 480p. I remember those driver games. Cameron loved the one that came out on PS3. I think it was Driver 3. Was it the Driver Test Drive? Whatever the last one was. He liked that one a lot. I was working at GameStop at the time. Alright. Oh. Not a game where you hold trigger. Thinking of modern games. Whoops. Burnout. Man, I love Burnout. We talked about this yesterday. Big fan. I want this series to come back. I think that kind of like the N64. I'm a pretty big fan of what the 2X Pro can do for the PS2 as well. Like that's a very Scanline's help. It's a very satisfactory image right there. It's the button for boost. Oh, there it is. I don't have like a profile set up on this controller, so the buttons are kind of random that I'm having to figure out here. Oh, we need to exchange information. And then, just for giggles, let's swap it to the M and see how it does. You can see it changing inputs there. Well, even without scan lines, that looks pretty good. Because this would be like default sharp, like it doesn't have the smooth filter. But it's doing a pretty good job. So again, this is the 2X Pro M. Oh man, that's my fault. That's my fault. Sorry, my bad. We ran into the guy. I remember there was like a joke that my brother and I used to like mess around with playing. Oh Jesus Christ! I've caused so much chaos playing Grand Theft Auto games. He'd be like in a police chase or something, and he wouldn't like crash into people's cars. He'd just like swipe off their mirrors and stuff. But it's like you gotta think about it. Even if all that happened was your mirror got shot off, that's still like a devastatingly miserable thing to have to like go to the insurance for. Someone hit and ran your mirror off. You ruin that person's day. Like absolutely. And this is with scan lines enabled now. 2X Pro M with scan lines. PS2 component. Ooh. The darkness is actually kind of messing me up. I didn't even see that turn coming. Because it makes it definitely darker. Whee! Damn it! So many rear ends. Alright. So now, let's bring the 5X Pro into the mix. And... Oh, the darkness, Mr. Wayne. You think the darkness is your ally? I was born in it, molded by it. You merely rent the dark from me. I'm gonna switch the camera to CR5X Pro, buddy. Oof. Take some adjusting here. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Let's get it on. It needs to be taller. Oh, there we go. I like that. Return. Oh, we got our 5X Pro cam there. Let's switch the input to the 5X Pro. Alright, now we're going to get serious. So here we go. 5X Pro, this is just like the totally default profile here. Definitely a huge bump up in brightness because scanlines are now off. So this is just 1080p fill, generic 4x3. It'd be sharp by default. It's already quite satisfactory. But we can do more, can't we? We can do better. So, with interlaced content, there is an extremely important step that you can't forget to do. But first, let's... I think I need to keep it as fill or under to do a proper profile. So, let's get it over to one of the recommended interlaced sampling modes, which would be high-res 858. But you gotta make sure that you enable or allow interlace there. Otherwise, it isn't like gonna technically be what it's supposed to be. Important safety tip. Oh, my thing in the background. You're supposed to loop! Shame! Fixed it. Alright, so... let's go, well... I don't know if it does anything. That's fill. What's under look like? Ooh. Ah, okay. Ends up being not too different. I tend to like under. And then there's no need to do much with this. There's no overscan or gunk visible. Smooth. 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 Not really doing much there. Alright, motion adaptive. I don't know how this is going to look, but let's double check here. Bob with CRT Simulate. We'll do that next. Alright, but that's 858. Woo, woo, woo. It looks a little like kind of overly sharpened. Or not really overly sharpened, but like digitized. It's kind of like what DS games look like on the Wii U. If this isn't your cup of tea, then generic 4x3 would come across as less like this. Oh no! Owie. So now we'll do generic with like smooth. And there's not really much need for this now, but we'll make sure that it's a little offset. Well, that looks pretty good. Oop. I'm probably going to do that more than once today. So generic comes across as a lot smoother overall. Whoa. See, I just ruined that guy's whole week right there. I scraped his car, scratched it up. He has to make an insurance claim now. It's a hit and run. He's in trouble. Whee! Ooh! Alright, I want to get a takedown. Come on. I can do it. No! Cheater. No! Ow! Impact time. Oh, nope. Alright, let's do scan lines now. Let's do scan lines. So, we'll keep it all. Let's go back to 858. Which the cool thing is it keeps your settings like that. That's pretty sweet. And now, let's do some scan lines. Slot mask. Okay, here's what I'm going to do for this. To help, oop, that's not what I wanted to do. To help everyone kind of see it. Let's zoom way the heck in. Oh boy. That looks insane. What have I done? Nope. Nope. Alright, there we go. New background achieved. Looks very silly. There we go. Alright. That'll kind of help with us being able to see some of the deets there, although, you know, it's super zoomed in, obviously. But there's a variety of different, you know, things that the 5X Pro has, whereas the 2X Pro and 2X Pro M, it's just scan lines on or off. The 5X has like a full-on customization suite. So there's a lot of different things there. I tend to really prefer Aperture Grill and Consumer One, depending on the situation. Those are my two favorites. So that's Aperture Grill. But we can mess around with the strength and the intensity, which mask is in use. There's a lot we can do with that. So I could like change this. Different masks that achieve different things. Turn it off completely. It's pretty sick, like what you can do with this. Consumer, shadow, and grill. And slot mask. Let's do that. Let's do Consumer 1. Shadow. Like grill medium like that. Because then we can bump up the... We're gonna bump it up. Okay, so then there's also gamma and color boost. Now, the thing about this is the HDR setting really makes this come to life, because this is like the initial way that you can overcome the loss of brightness, but it tends to really hit its stride if you combine it with scan lines, or HDR. So that's just like a kind of thrown together consumer one there. I'll probably just keep it like that. Oop. Get out of here, logo. I've kind of had the same thought about the 4K. Like, I'm not really sure what much more it would really give me. Because, I mean, the 5X looks, like, really, really great. Even if I do capture, like, in 4K, like, it still looks fantastic. I haven't felt much motivation to get one besides just talking about it for content, but that's not really a good motivation in my mind. Like, I'd still want to use it and love it. And I don't know that it would do a ton more for me than this currently does. So now, the scan lines have really helped with that kind of like overly digital look that I mentioned earlier. Like, it's hiding a lot of that. That's one of the things I like about using scan lines in general, is they hide a lot of that stuff. Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't. I do like Gaussian. Gaussian's fun. And then also, and this is probably going to break everything, but the best way to overcome the brightness issue is to flip on HDR. Initially, it'll look like kind of overexposed, but that's where you can mess with the gamma and the color to kind of get your desired balance of settings there. This is entirely up to you how you want to do it in that regard. I tend to, depends on the console really, because some of them have a way more intense overall brightness by default, and 64 is a good example of that. Like, even with the gamma being like at 0, it's still like really, really intense. Boop, boop. But now we can, let's see here, we get a much more dramatic and obvious effect from increasing the strength with all this on now. Yeah, man, the HDR is really cool. It is a really cool feature. Having that bumped up brightness. Stop it. Having the bumped up brightness really helps with getting that CRT look. So if I zoom in right there, like, all this stuff just becomes like way more obvious, like having the stuff bumped up. So like, even if I go up to like 10, you can definitely see it. Like, these changes are much more visually apparent now. Like, I like it. But you can increase the strength now on all of this stuff without it hurting the brightness as much, because your TV, or in this case the capture card, has flipped into an HDR mode. Like, it thinks that I'm giving it HDR content. It's tricked it, which is really a clever kind of thing there. But we can overcome that issue with the brightness being attacked very easily. And if you think it looks too washed out, you can play around with the gamma and the color boost to kind of achieve what you think looks the most visually appealing. And this is like entirely subjective. Like, you could mess around with this stuff for hours to kind of achieve like an ideal thing. It's totally up to you. I think the only one that I straight don't like is what's it, BVM. Not my favorite, but the rest I can all enjoy. So like aperture grill, slot mask with shadow 1. Change it to
motion detected at driveway.
Off. Exponential. Actually, I like exponential for a lot of them. We'll bump that up. Bump up the strength. Gamma to maybe 15. Oh, that's pretty aggressive right there. And the brightness is still like fine. Let's do the other thing though that was suggested earlier with the releaser. You want to just straight bob, right? With CRT simulate. Bam. Ooh. I like that. It's a little different on the stream than it is on my capture monitor. Um, what I'm seeing in front of me, like right here, like that's pretty sick, because the mask is showing up stronger on the stream than it is on my monitor. On my monitor, I have like very defined the exponential and slot mask together are creating very defined little hexagons. It looks pretty sick. I am a fan of this. I actually might save this one as a profile, to be honest. Let's restore this to its normal size. CRT Simulate, I also don't mess around with a whole lot. I tend to leave things to just auto, but this is kind of the whole reason I like doing this stuff, is to be given some new ideas. Brightness may be a little too heavy, but I like it. Still like it. Yeah, all right, now we got a better idea. So let's, well, actually, I won't even leave it. I'll just stop the car. We'll just do it here. Oh! He crashed into me, officer. You saw that. There we go. Alright, so maybe I don't want... I think I like slot there. And then we'll bump it up, bump it up, bump it up. I know, dude, he hit me like... he must have been carrying like gold bars in his car. Bring down that a little bit. I guess that's the Bob doing that, the effect we're seeing there. Yeah, it does. I like it. No! My car! Again. Alright, now I'm off the road. Jesus Christ. These maniacs. Let me see if I can find a combo here that I'm like genuinely in love with. I think I'm close. I'm really close. I like Escosian. Maybe... Ooh. Ooh. Man, I kind of like the shadow. It doesn't look as good on the stream, like again, but like on the monitor here locally, that looks sick. The stream is picking up more of the Bob field changing, whatever the term for that is, than my actual like preview monitor is. But that is a great suggestion there, Stamper. I really appreciate it, because I wouldn't have thought to try that otherwise. Ooh, supercharge. Oh. We got a burnout, folks. It's the name of the game. Ooh. Oh man, can I do an X5? Oh. Oh! Yeah, everyone's dead. That was a 150-mile collision. Lives have been taken. Yeah, like I think the for some reason the stream is like picking up more of that. I don't know what the term would be, but the field order changing or whatever the term is for how Bob works. The stream's picking it up more. Whoa. Yeah, motion adaptive, but this looks wild on my monitor now. It's crazy how much it changes it. Aperture grill, the old standby. Boost that color. It's like I'm editing two different things here. It's really bizarre. Hey, obviously problems occurred here today, but I have never had a car accident on the road. I've only ever had one accident in my life. I was backing out of a parking space, and someone tried to like snake behind me and basically grinded their car against the trailer hitch on the back of my car. That's the one and only accident I've been in. And that was like 16 years ago. Whenever I first started driving. Like year one. Go for something a little more simple. If I can get it to show up. Oh! Thought it was safe. I'm going to keep that off. Grill medium. Slot. Alright, here we go. Let's try this. That's maxed out. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, man, I wish I could do BFI. That's why the OLEDs are, like, so well regarded for this feature. Because they have that. Actually, my TV does have that. It's a certain setting to enable it. But you can do it. Oh, there we go. Just gotta max them both out. That seems to look the best on the stream. And then we'll bump this up to compensate. Color boost really helps too. I like the color boost. Okay, I like that. So this is back to kind of motion adaptive, but CRT simulate's still on, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. If I flip it over to Bob. Blend, Bob. Yeah, Bob. So Bob looks really good locally here, but my capture card makes it very jittery, twitchy looking on the stream specifically. I like what it's doing here in front of me on my actual screen, though. Like, it's very good. For the sake of a smooth experience for the stream, I'm going to keep it on motion adaptive, but keep CRT simulate on. Actually, I wonder if the field order, I wonder if any of the other settings are going to make it do anything. No, probably won't. The offset. No. Field order. No. Alright, now. I can't make it look the same as my preview monitor for some reason. Smooth Bob's a little bit better. So much you can mess around with, though. That's the cool thing about this. The 5X Pro is a sandbox of possibilities. This right here looks quite I like this too. Whee! that's a good spot. I mean, yeah, if this muscle car came tearing through your town at 150 miles an hour, sparking flames at the back, I think you'd be a little concerned. I'm trying to. Also, it's worth mentioning, you can just have HDR on. I did a video about that. I never even considered that until I saw someone talking about it on one of the retro gaming subreddits. But you could just run like regular HDR as an option to like play around with the colors, and like there are definitely some games that look pretty interesting with just HDR enabled. It makes the contrast more dynamic, basically, by default. So that is totally a valid option, as well as just having HDR on. It's pretty interesting. The PS2 is one of the consoles that I think it actually can benefit from, because like I said, the contrast in particular gets a little more dynamic. That's what HDR does. The ceiling is increased for your darks and your brights, because that looks quite good right there. Here we go again. Whoa, not this time. I would love to wreck one person. Oh, not me. Well, never mind. Ooh. Meant to do that, meant to do that, meant to do that. Getting lapped like crazy. Have a good rest of your day, Niall. Appreciate you being here. Alright. Let's flip it over to the N64 for some additional Scanline fun. Pokemon! Ooh. Alright, we're going to want to get the default profile back. Yeah, my profiles are gone. I wanted to mess around with some of the old firmware for a little experiment I was doing. So I gotta recreate those at some point. Alright. So Scalines for the N64. Oh wow. D-Blur like just screws this way up. D-Blur being off is like so much clearer for this game for some reason. You'll see it in a second. Bam, there it goes. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Oh, I know. It's because the capture's all... I knew this would probably happen. The capture is struggling. I figured that would happen with the HDR being flipped on and off. Oh no! That's an easy fix though. Should be able just to kind of power cycle the HDMI switch, which should redo the handshake, which should turn it all back on. Yes, it did. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so right now we're kind of doing default everything. So let's do some N64 scan lines. And I picked this game on purpose because this is one of the games that tends to have like super crazy exaggerated brightness when you get everything turned on and ramped up. So let's keep it on. Let's do under. I like under. Flip it over. And 64. Slight adjustment. Keep it on sharp. Alpha grill.
What's the matter, trainer?
Oh, this actually won't matter here because we are dealing with a 240p game.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Yeah, it's not gonna matter. And then
What's the matter, trainer?
shut up, announcer guy. God, I'm busy. I always pick HDR10, by the way. The reason, just to, like, you can pick the other ones, but HDR10 is the most compatible signal that you can give to a TV. Every TV can take HDR10. HLG stands for Hybrid Log Gamma. That is a HDR format that's designed for over-the-air antennas to receive. It's something that's being like slowly rolled out in different markets and territories. They announced that like 7 or 8 years ago, and like it only started to appear within the last couple of years. So HDR10 though, like every TV can take HDR10. It's just the generic. It's the Windows of HDR formats basically. Most TVs now can probably take HLG, but you're safer choosing HDR10. Yeah, I know. He's just, shut up.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
The capture's still screwed up though from flipping all these modes on and off. Let me reset that again. I figured that would happen if I'm doing all this live. There we go. Easy fix at least. Alright, so now... Oh, it's still frozen for you guys. Man, it's struggling. It's kind of why I wanted to test this though, because it doesn't appreciate having all these HDR things enabled and disabled while still recording. I kind of like that. Ramp up that color some more. Could actually probably go a little bit brighter too. Alright, let's see what that looks like once it decides to play nice. Let it sit for a minute. Come on. Alright, I think we're good. So this is with no additional mask. Aperture grill plus Gaussian bumped up strength. This is pretty similar to like what the 2X Pro does. It's just like straight vertical lines. Like sometimes simple is fun. N64 good call out. I got a different way I can do that next time. Currently, that's running in the most obscenely complicated way possible. Last year, oh, he took out. I'm a dumbass. I should have switched out Charmander immediately. That's the Psyduck I was fighting the whole time. That's streaming from my network storage. Last year, I spent like a whole year putting money aside for a personal cloud storage thing so that I never have to delete any capture or raw footage I ever make. So it's streaming to my Blu-ray player from that. I don't know why I just put on a flash drive or something. I'm just trying to use all this stuff, I guess. Oh, he swapped out. He's too smart for me. I think that the 5X Pro with N64 with scanlines can look pretty damn good. Because this is like when I play games on my own, like for fun, the N64 is probably the one that I will throw scanlines on every now and then. Because you combine scanlines with HDR, you get a pretty awesome picture. And again, there's like a sandbox of options here for what you could do with the scanline combos. Shadow 1, real coarse. Let's do exponential. Exponential with Shadow 1. Get the color up. Probably 3. And again, it looks like so different on the capture. It's kind of annoying. I don't know why that's the case, but this is good to test this at least going forward. Again, on my screen here, I have just these perfectly defined little, honeybee comb hexagons that make up the image, and it's just so nice. I guess I could try to see if this guy can get it. I don't know if this is gonna work. It's probably a stupid idea, but
What's the matter, trainer?
what's the matter, trainer? That's probably not gonna pick up too well. Oh, not at all. Not at all. That's hell. Oh God. Oh Jesus. Yeah, should have figured that would work.
What's the matter, trainer?
Stop it. Surf.
The commands are issued.
Yeah, it's definitely an in-person kind of thing. But hey, that's the idea here. So I know that doing this live has a diminishing return, which is all the more reason to do like a legit video for it. Because then more of this would be intact when it gets uploaded to YouTube. Because I could do it all in 4K, which fights compression better. So you'd probably see what you're supposed to actually see here. Because this setting I just did right here, like, that's pretty sick. And then keep in mind, although it didn't show up great in capture here, Stamper's suggestion of doing Bob with CRT Simulate, give that a shot yourself, because it was kind of weird looking on the capture. Like, it did look good on the stream, but like again, locally here, so good. That was awesome. Squirtle, oh, I got Ice Beam. Am I faster though? Yes, I am. Whoa! The announcer in this game is what makes it so much fun. Squirtle, no! Is it down and out? Alright. And this Pokemon fight, and that'll be it for today's stream. Didn't want to do a super long one. This is mainly an experiment here to both see how the second camera idea can be played around with. I think I got a better idea for where I'm going to position that going forward. Playing around with these scan lines here. I got what I wanted out of it. I got some cool suggestions to try on capture. I'm going to mess around with the Bob stuff more on my own. For the 480i stuff, I originally had this idea of doing a comparison video of the 5X Pro on its like earliest firmware when it added the smooth filter. It was like the second or third update. Comparing that to kind of where it is now with its updated motion deinterlacer. But the thing I ran into, they're so different that comparing them like does a disservice to both. Because like it's hard to explain. The current firmware for the motion adaptive stuff like makes it clearer, but like the base firmware from 3 years ago, like it looks smoother to the naked eye, and like you may perceive that as better, Again, it's all subjective, right? But I felt like they were so wildly different from each other that I didn't even think it'd be worth it to do a video, because it doesn't really highlight them in a way that makes sense to me. Everyone's gut reaction would be that the old firmware looks better. Like, it's hard to explain. If you have a 5X Pro, I'd say just try it yourself. Like, roll the firmware back and check it out versus the current. Because it just handles 480i content so much clearer now than it used to, even if you have smooth turned on. It's almost like the smooth filter doesn't even really do anything anymore for like how it handles the stuff, but it looks so much cleaner, like at the same time, like it didn't even matter. It's hard to explain. Like I have comparison stuff in there. I might make it a tiny segment of a video so that the work isn't lost, but I don't want to like misrepresent the stuff. Basically, it was kind of my hesitation. It's interesting how different it is now. Is this fight ever gonna end? It's like, oh my god, they're just slapping each other to death. The brutality. Both Pokemon appear weak. Alright, I win. Yay, I won. Alright. There we go. Thanks everyone who tuned in there. We set a new record for my streams today. We had 6 concurrent viewers, which is huge to me. So thank you everyone that tuned in live. I will be uploading a recording of this later today, so there'll be like an HD recording. I'm curious to see what that ends up looking like after it's uploaded, because the Scanline stuff might be closer to its reference here in front of me in that recording. We'll see. It's perfectly possible. So look forward to that. I will see y'all on the next one. Super appreciate you for tuning in. This kind of gave me what I was looking for. I got some ideas now for doing like a Scanline focused video, and maybe a like 480i kind of experience video. So it's 2 different ideas there I'm going to do. So worked out. Thanks for being here while I tested out some stuff. Everyone have a great rest of your day. I super appreciate you tuning in. Boom. And you